Okay. So, hello everybody. I'm Rahima Wasti, Marketing Executive at lionprodev, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to today's live session. We're discussing something super interesting today: the secret lives of tech founders, bizarre hobbies, and habits. We'll also dive into some valuable advice on skill development as well. So, networking and how to navigate your career in the evolving digital world. So, with me is Lion Products founder Philip Cutting. Philip, thanks for joining us here today. Excited to dig into this conversation.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Rahima. I'm looking forward to this too. We've got some fun topics to cover, so let's jump in.
All right, Phil, let's start with the fun part. What's one of the quirkiest hobbies, and how has it influenced you as a tech founder?
Okay, cool. Well, so as it sounds, I really love playing with two things. One is Minecraft with my children,
Okay.
and the other is working with microcontrollers and that whole
Oh,
technology around it, the 3D printing, the those little breadboards, right? Putting the wires together. The It's fun building little prototypes of devices. It's one of the things that I kind of relax with my kids, as much as you could with a 4-year-old, kind of bouncing off your head while you try and do that. Mostly it's cut wires everywhere, but it's still a lot of fun. So the that's kind of random, right? But
okay.
it's 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 kind of pleasant for me, right? It's fun. So it helps me be creative, and it helps me to kind of stay inside the tech bubble and to grow and play with my curiosity. And yeah, even if I feel like a kid sometimes, I think it's still
Oh
all
yeah,
right.
that's cool. Yeah, we all are kid at heart. So that's awesome. For me, it is, I guess, photography. Something about capturing a moment helps me step back and refocus. Funny enough, it's also sharpened my eye for marketing visuals. So yeah.
Exactly. It's little hobbies that kind of help make us more interesting and keep us engaged and help us play and to grow through the edge of creativity that you don't have when you sit and focus on something. But when you just kind of immerse yourself, when you let yourself go, right? It's these little hobbies that build our skills and kind of make us more well-rounded professionals, even if it does sound silly. Now, yours, it's awesome, right? I can imagine you sitting there with a camera, waiting for that perfect moment, people walking in front of you, cars honking, right? The whole thing. Wait until you have kids, it gets better. Just,
Yeah.
enjoy it and, you know, learn some patience from it and keep pushing. I'm so glad that you're still playing in that creative place with your photography.
Likewise. So let's talk about skill development. I believe, Phil, the digital world is evolving so fast. So, what skills do you think are crucial for people to develop today?
Mm. So it's a digital world, right? And it's
Yeah.
also a world full of now AI and technological revolutions. And so you have to be adaptable. You have to be flexible, and you have to build on your skills and to kind of play and focus into different things that are interesting for you, right? We're in a new world now where it's
Yeah.
not so much about mastering things and like hardcore engineering. Well, sometimes it is that, and sometimes it's hard. You have to fight through that stage. But we're in a world with this technical landscape that's changing so fast, and the tools are getting so amazing that we just have to master the fundamentals so that we can become creative and playful in our technologies. And of course, we all have different idea of what playing is, right? If you guys saw me playing with my breadboards and the wiring, and my kids getting frustrated, and then just give them give them some patience and teaching my 10-year-old how to program C++, right? You're not going to think that sounds fun, but In the moment, we're playing and we're learning and we're growing our skills and we're diving into it in a way that's, I think it's going to become more common in the future
It is.
because we're entering in a world where mundane tasks aren't maybe won't even be around anymore. So
Yeah.
it's exciting. I think we just have to learn to fly on the spot. We have to learn how to develop, to let ourselves be creative. We have to embrace some of the softer skills in life, like communication and networking and leadership, if you can call leadership a soft skill. I kind of do. And you have to learn quickly and you have to challenge yourself. And I think the
Absolutely.
what's exciting is that now we can really challenge ourselves. Did you I did an exercise. Have you played with ChatGPT in a way where you ask it to teach you things?
Yeah, I guess I have. I have once, but not with ChatGPT. It was a bot, another
Okay,
one.
awesome. A lot of the systems are amazing at this. The other day, I took one of my content and I said, "Hey, critique this for me," right? And then I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, cool. And I want to make this fun and I want to make it vibrant. And now, what do I need to do to make this a 10 out of 10?" And I spent an hour going through this, and it was just like I had a real public speaking creative coach beside me. And I'm like, wow, I learned so much in this 1 hour
Yeah.
that normally would have taken me 3 or 4 hours with, or maybe even like a week or month in a classroom setting. So if I can learn fast, right, I'm not the smartest one around, right? And I know just the pace of things are going to become incredibly fast. We're going to be able to dive into things and we're really going to learn to develop and become creative beings rather than just producing machines.
Yeah, that is so true. I believe in marketing, we see trends changing all the time. So if you are not curious and willing to learn, you'll fall behind. It's more like that. Keeping up with the tools is important, but understanding human behavior, how people think, buy, and engage is equally valuable, I believe.
Oh yeah, and taking your time to get engaged with people. And again, if we can call it those soft skills of being able to talk
Yeah,
to people, to build those relationships and to maybe ask uncomfortable questions that maybe not be uncomfortable for them, but uncomfortable for us to ask. Right.
absolutely.
And
Yeah, that works.
yeah, it's exciting times. And for if we are forgiving with ourselves and each other and
Mhm.
realize that we have a long ways to go, and life is just a long journey of excitement and learning and growth and sharing and helping each other, not to make it into a soft fluffy thing, right? But I've never been more satisfied in life than when I was helping people. And I think a lot of us experience that more so as we get older. When you're young and hot tempered, it's a little bit different. But as
Yeah.
you get into your 30s, right? You old men in 30s and 40s like me, right? We start to realize it's about the community, it's about the lives that we affect more than it is just about getting what we think we want.
Absolutely. So, Phil, there's one thing that we always talk about networking whenever we are having this live session. So, networking is something I believe everyone talks about, but it's often misunderstood. How do you approach networking in tech industry?
Mm. So I think a lot of us see networking as transactional. Like, hey, what can this person do for
Mhm.
me? Or like, what's the least that I could do for this person to impress them? Or even what's the most
And
I
they could
could
do
do?
something in return. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and right, it's very like, okay, but I'll do this. What will I get back? Or what do I have to do to get this? Right, and it's it's shallow, right, and it's obvious.
It is.
The real power in networking comes from building genuine relationships and saying, what can I do? Like when I'm looking at this, when I meet somebody, I'm like, how can I connect with this person on a personal level? Like, where do we connect? And is there something that I could do that would make this person rich, right? That would make this person have an amazing life and that's then the good energy of God would go around the world, and I would be. How do I be a like? How do I let God shine through me? Right. That's like one of my missions
Exactly.
in life. Like, how do I represent God as a worshiper in Christ? Right. How do I do this that says, yeah, I'm really out there to make the world a better place without being, without turning around and making it about me to be an amazing person. Now, of course I am, right? And we all know that, but
Yeah,
it's
you are.
it, thank you. Thank you. Um, but it's not. I try not to let it be transactional. Now it's human nature, and just sometimes keep it in mind. But build those genuine relationships. Be yourself. Don't be afraid that you're not perfect for everybody, because we're not, and especially at this stage.
That's
Maybe
so
at
true.
another time, right? So leave a good impression on people and be yourself, and have fun. Right? I've had amazing opportunities just come from these casual relations of trying to help or trying to inspire or trying to energize. And I've learned so much just from casual chats with other founders and investors and people who challenge my ideas, right? Because as you know, especially from our team meetings, I am 100% right 100% of the time, without doubt. Like, don't question it, right? But no, I'm kidding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
We
are. Okay, yes,
so
you are. Don't worry.
you're very kind. So it helps me keep this fresh perspective, and not just with founders and investors, but with my whole team, as you know. And sometimes you probably get tired of that too, right? I'm always looking to see what we can do as a team, and how can I be part of your life that's just personally getting better for you, even outside of work, right? Now, I'm not trying to bring my team in on weekends to make them have work parties, which might be a great
Yeah.
idea now that I think about it. But, so
Okay.
we definitely have some biryani parties, right?
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. Now we can.
but it comes back to just that general connection we can find with people. And when you find it out there, it's very precious. So just do what you can to grow it. It doesn't always work at this time, but I find that God puts us with the people that we should be with if we have an
Absolutely,
open
that
heart.
is very true. You are absolutely right. I always say don't network to get something. It's about making meaningful connections, just as you said. And sometimes that connection will turn into something valuable down the line when you least expect it, and that happens a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly. The best relationships that I have are built on mutual relationships, not quick favors, and following up and trying to make their lives better in even just little ways.
That's good. And so tech founders are known for being all in one, all in on their businesses, and often sacrificing personal time. So how do you, as a founder, find a balance between work and your personal life?
Honestly, it's a real challenge, and I am not very good at this. Um, there was definitely a time when I was working nonstop, um, and I thought it was the only way to succeed. I would wake up at 4 a.m. and I wouldn't be back home until 1 or 2 a.m. And my kids,
That's
like,
tough.
when they saw me, they're like, "Dad's here!" Right? And it was a celebration for 15
Oh
minutes,
yeah.
and then I'd be back at work. And I did this for more years than I should admit. Right? So I've missed big chunks of my kids' younger ages, right? Even though I was
Mm.
always around and I was always there for the important things, right? But that's not life, and that's not being a father, right? So
Absolutely.
it's a real challenge, right? And even then, it's not sustainable, right? For on the body, it breaks down. So many of my friends have
Yeah.
worked way too hard for too long, and they just they get old before their time, right? You can go through your 30s busting hard, right? But when you hit your 40s, if you haven't found that balance, you're going to break down, right? You might not even, I mean,
Exactly.
look
Your
at how
body doesn't let you do that.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we both know so many guys that and girls that, they get to 35, 40 and they have diabetes and they have heart attacks or
Yeah.
they just fall over from stroke or they fall asleep and get into car accidents, right? Um, it's hard to do, right? So whether it's whatever it is that is your personal balance, you have to work in time for yourself, your family, right? And to do some exercise, to eat healthy, the to have some hobbies, to be interesting. When I'm so wrapped up in my work for 4 or 5 plus year chunks, uh, it's like I'm not very interesting, right? I'm too wrapped up. I'm too focused. It's you can't talk with me, or you couldn't talk with me, right? And it just, I wasn't very human at that point. So easy to
Mhm.
fall into that, gain the weight and all the health problems that comes with it. What I've learned, in short, is that when you step away, you often come back with better solutions, and you come back energized, and you're into the fight better. You're into the game. So it's hard to do that. It's hard to make yourself break away, especially if you're driven and if you see how what you're doing is affecting the lives of those around you, of your employees, of your customers. If you're a founder, you see how your mission is close to being successful. The one next thing is going to make the difference, but you have to balance it. The I can't remember who I learned this from, but
Mhm.
there's a concept of valuing your time, right? And putting a dollar value to every activity that you do. So for example, a podcast like this, it's I'd say that's like a $2,000 hour for me. Because
Certainly.
it's huge production value, it's huge business value.
Mhm.
An hour of fitness is like a $2,000 hour for me because I'm adding lifespan, I'm adding energy, I'm making my wife happier, I'm
Yeah.
more energetic and flowing, right? It keeps me younger, right? And the movement makes me feel great, right? There's like watching TV for an hour has like a negative $500 cost, right? Because yeah, sure, I have to maybe relax sometimes, but that's going to cost me $500. Um, Eating a healthy meal, that's worth like $200, right? Um, eating a McDonald's meal is like a negative $200, right?
Oh
If
yeah. We
if
still do that to ourselves, but yeah.
hard to resist, right?
Yeah.
I'm no saint for sure. I certainly love my bourbon and my cigars. The A bourbon and a cigar, that is a negative $200 hour, but I don't care because I'm willing to pay that $200 because
Exactly.
it's my calmness, it's my state of meditation and balance. If I'm cleaning the floor, that's a $10 an hour, right? Now,
Absolutely.
what should
Yes.
I, in all this case, what should I be doing? I should be not cleaning the floor. I should hire somebody for $50 or whatever it is to do that.
Mhm.
And I should
Yeah.
work on creating content that's $500,000, $2,000 an hour, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So,
That's a great point, I believe. Yeah.
yeah, it's a silly way to look at it, and it's a little bit embellishing in some ways. But look at the lifespan value of your time. If I clean the floor
Mhm.
versus having somebody else do it,
Yeah.
there's no return on that unless I did some
Yeah.
physical activity and it was just like a meditation moment. But for me, cleaning the floor isn't meditative. For some people,
Exactly.
vacuuming is meditative, or doing laundry or dishes or like something like that. Um,
Cleaning is basically meditative for some people. Yeah.
for some, yeah, yeah. For me, I'm pissed off while I'm doing it. I'm like, I should do this fast, and I am like, I should be doing value that's going to be helping my team and bringing in business. So to circle back, it's, you got to find little ways that make sense to you to find that balance between what's really important and what's not. Those 4, 5, 10 years, really 10 years, where I was working insane hours, and literally it was
Mhm.
sometimes 4 a.m. to 2 a.m. with 2 hours of sleep. I can do that for a while. With one day a week, I'd crash for 6 or 7 hours, and then I go back to it, right? But I felt that strain on my body. It certainly has long-term effects, and
Mhm.
part of it is the way I'm wired, right? Some people are insane wired like that, right? But
Yeah.
I was in there. There's a lot of $10 and $20 an hour jobs that I was doing, and there's times when I wasn't productive because how can you be productive on 2 hours a week, or on 2 hours sleep, right? You can
Absolutely.
be, you can force yourself, but you're not that productive.
Absolutely, you're right about that. We need to take care of ourselves, our bodies, and I found that having boundaries makes us more productive. So when we take time to recharge, we're more sharper and more focused towards our work or whatever we do. It's not about working more hours but about working smarter, just like you said.
Exactly. You can't pour from an empty cup, and if you don't make time to recharge, you're going to burn out, and that's bad for you, your business, your family. And it's irresponsible when you're the leader.
Absolutely, that I completely agree with. So, Phil, let's open the floor to the audience as well. They need to ask you some questions that you have to answer. So, what
Awesome.
it's great. So, the first one is, what inspired you to pursue your current hobby or interest outside of tech?
Okay. My children.
Hmm.
There's two things, right? My
Minecraft is something that your children will do.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like a 20-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 4-year-old, there's no way I'm not playing Minecraft. They want
Oh
me to
yeah.
play some other games too. One wants to play Halo, the other one wants to play I can't remember the name. Fortnite.
Oh yeah,
The
that's
baby
so
wants to
cool.
play some Papa Pig thing, right? And I'm like, we're going to settle on this one, right? It's like, I got to get back to work, which I try not to say too often, but they know it. And in the one for the microcontrollers,
Mhm.
that's kind of like my fun, right? It's something I wanted to do as a kid. I never had the money to do it. Uh, I wasn't poor, right? I wasn't under the bridge, but I just wasn't from a family that had the kind of money to buy those kind of toys and to experiment, or to have the kind of people around me that knew how to do it. So I finally get to do that as an adult. I love doing it. I'm a geek, right? And also my mother, ever since I was like 10 years old, is like, Phil,
Mhm.
you have to get a hobby. You have to collect something, and you need to like find some life in there. You can't just be this so driven and awkward. You got to be a human too. So always I have some of those things in the back of my mind, and I've settled down on these two, and hopefully mom's happy about that.
I'm happy for you too. So,
Thanks.
there is another one. Can you share a quirky habit that you believe contributes to your creativity?
Oh, so when I'm in a rut and I need to just kind of unwind, I enjoy a cigar and a bourbon, and um, and I'll sit there, and even on like a park bench with my computer, a cigar and a bourbon, and I'll think, and I'll do some work, and I'll kind of playfully uh, do some research, right? Or even just sit there and enjoy that cigar. The But I have a hard time just sitting on one thing, so I tend to do that kind of combination. And yeah, it's I don't
That's
know
the
if
thing
it's
that keeps you
quirky,
going.
but yeah, it's kind of like my naughty
Yeah,
pleasure.
Oh, yeah, that it is. It sounds like one. So, there's another one. How do you envision the future of tech founders incorporating their personal passions into their work?
I think this is inspiring, right? It really shows that your human side and that you're more than just person out there to make money, right?
Mhm.
People can smell when you're just faking it, and people feel it when you have passion. And
Exactly.
it's in your eyes, it's in your voice, it's the proof is in the pudding, right? And you may think that something that you like is just weird, right? Like for me, Minecraft is just weird. It's like a Lego game. It's basically Legos
Mhm.
on computer, right? Like that's the other thing I do with my kids, which is Lego. But I can't even separate that out because Lego and microcontrollers and stuff like this, it's all the same concept, right? We just it's the next step. But it's yeah, I play these games and I have my cigar, right? And you know, this is part of me and it's authentic, right? It's really what I am. You may not like it, right? And if you're in front of me and you say, "Hey, Phil, please don't drink and smoke around me," I'll respect that, right? There's plenty of other bad habits I can come up with, but the it's part of me, and you should know that. And if I
Exactly.
hid that from you, you'd be like, "Okay, Phil, what do you do?" Like, "No, I'm a professional 24/7." They're like, "Okay, that's weird." Right? You got to
Yeah.
have something, and everybody has something, and people be attracted to that something that's quirky about you because they also have something quirky.
Yeah. Absolutely. It makes you yourself.
Yeah.
So, there's another one for you here. So, have any of your hobbies resulted in any surprising learning experiences or insights?
Mm. I like to think that I'm so inspired that just my
Mhm.
sheer presence brings inspiration and amazing things to the universe, right? But as far as the hobbies, they I don't look at them that way. I
Mhm.
look at it as just a way to pull my mind off of the heavy things to really have some connection with my kids and my friends and as play. So get out there, just experiment with different stuff, and don't worry how it ties back to anything because you should just be yourself before anything else.
That's beautiful. Beautiful, that was. And what's a one hobby you think the most tech professionals overlook but could benefit from?
Oh gosh, if I could get everybody going to Toastmasters as a hobby, that would be amazing. Uh,
Okay.
I think I don't think it matters what the hobby is. I think there's value to going into any particular hobby and diving deep into it and having a focus and going down one rabbit hole so far that you can't see the light of day nor the moon nor the next universe. That you have the ability to do this focus and dive into a problem unlike anything else. And if you can do it for one thing, if you can do it for your favorite hobby, then you can do it for anything else. You've proven to yourself that you have the ability to focus, to dive deep, even when the going gets hard. And I think that's the best thing about a long-standing hobby is that you dive deep and you just don't stay on the surface. Nobody who has one hobby that they're passionate about stays on the surface level.
That's perfect. Perfect answer to that. So, can you discuss a hobby that has sparked collaboration among the fellow founders?
Mm. Certainly this year I've been doing a lot of IoT device work, and
Mhm.
maybe that's motivated me into the hobby with microcontrollers because it's all the same thing. Just the microcontrollers are just bigger versions of these smart rings and these home systems and all these things that we build around us and these wearables that we are incorporating into our life. So I think for me, that hobby is probably in the one that's translated most to to my career. Another thing I'm passionate about is teaching people, and
Amazing.
I don't consider teaching a hobby. It's almost
Mhm.
it's just me sharing myself, right? And hoping that people can have a better life. And that's more spiritual, I think. And I think having spiritual activities is also important, but it's not the same as a hobby.
That's great. So yeah, teaching cannot be counted as a hobby. Yeah, for you it works like that. Absolutely. But yeah, you share yourself. I've seen that as well. That you share your knowledge with other people, and you find it quite interesting, which it is. So
Thank you.
the other one is, what do you do to encourage creativity and exploration of hobbies within your team?
Mm. To be honest, I am not directly very good at this. What I do is I encourage my team leaders to
Mhm.
interact with the members of their teams and to
Mhm.
give them opportunities to learn and to express themselves and just to go out and have fun in the team and to combine teams to in fun activities so they get to know each other personally and they get to take their minds off of things. So I do it mostly through leadership and guidance and encouragement to the people below me. um I don't
Beautiful.
the people, like, you could say, like, above me is, the person that owns my business, my wife. You could say she's above me, right? But even then,
That's
it's
sweet.
it's kind of collaborative, and the I don't too much try to inspire her for things, because I guess she inspires me. So what more how much happier can she be, other than inspiring me? But um that's how I do it. So I do it indirectly by enabling my team.
Mhm.
And I guess it depends where you're at. So that's how I do it. For my team members, right? I coach them into it, and they say, "Hey, Phil, I need these resources. I need something," or "This person is going through this situation. Can we help out?" And then I get more involved, and I'll help out the team members through my team leaders. And even if it's me doing the supporting action, I make sure that the team leaders get the credit for that, as both they're the inspirational components and they're the force that's behind it. I'm blessed that the team leaders that I have stayed with me for a long, long time, and we've grown together.
That's great. That was wonderful. So, Phil, let's wrap things up with some advice for our viewers. In today's fast paced digital first world, what should people keep in mind when it comes to their careers?
Okay, my advice, super simple: stay adaptable, stay curious, never stop learning, and keep a childlike curiosity about you, and don't be scared of ever being wrong, and keep that pride in check. The world is changing faster than it's ever has, and the skills you need today might not have anything directly to do with the ones you'll need tomorrow, but they build on each other. So be proactive in
Absolutely.
developing your skills, but also focus on building the relationships and the cultivating your brand and cultivating those around you. And you just don't want to keep up, right? It's not about keeping up with the Jones. You really want to get ahead of the curve as much as you can without being too prideful and showing off. I think some modesty is okay here, but we all love to, live through exciting friends. So if you're one of my friends that have great stories, please share them.
Sure, I completely agree to that. Also, don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. The biggest opportunities often come from the most unexpected places, and that is very true. Whether it's taking on a new project, learning a new skill, or even picking up a quirky hobby, embrace it. It might just lead you to your next big idea.
Exactly. Exactly. And last thing I think I can say is don't underestimate the power of experimentation and play. Try new things, fail, learn fast, try again, and that's how you grow. Not just in your career, but as a leader and as a person.
Philip, this has been such a great and insightful session. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us on everything from bizarre hobbies to finding balance in our life. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Um, yeah, just one. There's a question that I think I didn't answer well, and it was somebody asked how founder hobbies impact the culture of their business, and
Yes.
yeah, that's such a fun question. I think it's I think that depends on the leadership style and
Mhm.
the culture of the company, right? So if you're leading through inspiration and creativity and people see the hobbies that you're into, they get to see that, hey, there's a fun side of you, right? There's an interesting side. And maybe they connect, or maybe they think you're totally out there in left field, right? But whatever it is, it kind of gives them permission to be themselves, because a culture is not what you say, but what you do. So if you want a good, healthy culture, that's it starts with being honest and starts with showing the values that you have. And so that said, yes, any activity and hobby you have, it's going to reflect those around you. And if you pretend to be something else, people see that you're a liar because you're not presenting your real self. Present yourself. Let your hobbies be out there, wacky, crazy, good, bad, right? We all have self improvement, but don't think that your hobby is too weird for professional careers.
That was absolutely correct. And thank you so much, Philip, for sharing this with us now. So, before we go to all of you who are watching, don't forget to like this video. And if you found it helpful, share it with anyone you think could benefit, and subscribe to our channels for more content just like this. You can also follow us on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much, Phil, for staying with us today.
It was a pleasure. Have a good one, everybody.
Great. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.